Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and I was addicted to the hokey pokey, but then I turned myself around. And I just want to take a quick aside to say Happy 4th of July, everybody! Alright, so today we're taking a look at a game released back in April called Havendock. This is a personal request from a viewer. That's right, it's a same-day review. Woo! Anyway, this game was released in early access and is selling for $17 American. It totes itself as a farming sim, colony sim, life sim, and every other kind of sim known to man, I guess. So technically, it's kind of right up my alley. Anyway, let's take a good long look at this game, shall we? So, the story is kind of bland, but hey, at least it has one, right? Basically, you create your own character, which is kind of awesome, as I choose to make my guy look super goofy. I mean, look at this. Anyway, and he just randomly wakes up on some island. Well, time to get to surviving. Start gathering driftwood raft style, and begin building a kind of base built out of piers and docks and decks and whatnot. And survive. That's pretty much it. So how is it? Well, as always, let's go into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts, and you can tell me. So, up first for the positives is the sound effects and whatnot. The music is pretty. It's just nice to listen to in the background, and it sounds just fluid, like all the water around you. The sound effects are about average, but they're not awful, and it even has a partial voice acting, which is very much appreciated. The voice acting is, well, it's not very professional. I mean, you can clearly hear that it's not perfect, but, you know, still, it's not too bad, and, you know, A for effort. The next positive here is the art style, not the graphics per se. Overall, the graphics are kind of basic and bland. But here's the thing. The whole thing is just kind of cutesy and goofy, and considering the style of game it is, it's clear that this was a creative decision, which means I can't rip on it too much. I saw this little fishy jump on the title screen and I was like, oh, how cute, and realized that that was just the style of the design that they were going for here. You know, it's not great, but it works for what it is, basically. The price tag would be the next positive. For an early access game with fairly active developers, replayability, decent length, with a lot of interesting and well-defined gameplay mechanics, partial voice acting, and etc, I could keep going, I'd have to say that that price tag is pretty damn appropriate, so that's always nice, that's always a good thing. Next up would be the tutorial. It's short, it's sweet, it's well-worded, it's well-written, and it teaches you what you need to know as you need to know it. Now, it does kind of suddenly stop, leaving you in the dark and not sure if you're missing something or if you're supposed to do something on your own or whatever. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know if that was intentional or not. But when it did disappear, I was just kind of lost, and I hadn't learned everything yet. But, you know, for what was there, it was pretty damn legit. I just, you know, finish it, or at least if it's supposed to end, you know, let me know that it was supposed to end. You know, just something like that. And finally, for the positives, last for the positives is the gameplay. There's a lot of intuitive detail and super creativity going on here. I mean, it's a survival game and a colony sim game, right? So it's going to have features like those kinds of games. For instance, you actually control your little dude and walk around with him and do chores with him. You research with him, you pump water, you purify it, you farm things, you build, you grab resources, you got to keep him fed and watered, blah blah blah. Later on, you can build houses, you can recruit new people who happen to drift by, and then take care of their needs along with your own. Build them a giant rock to sleep on, because it's a goofy game. Build them a home, which, by the way, they never use the home. Build them a dining room table outside their home, so that all these guys who enjoy your colony can be happy and comfortable eating food at a table, because I guess that's just the necessity in survival games nowadays. They'll do jobs on their own and help you out, but you can also coordinate with them and have them attend to certain jobs specifically to help you out more, because until then, you're pretty much doing everything on your own. But there's a level of depth and ingenuity here to the game. Like, when you go to cook food, the camera will zoom in, and you'll get to watch your guy cook. When you sleep on a rock, you watch him do it, even if my guy won't close his goofy-ass eyes. I mean, come on, that's just hilarious to look at. When you go to craft certain things, or you go diving, or whatever, the game always zooms in and tries to show you details. I say tries because, well, I mean, look at this. But the point is, the game has these fun little zoom-in, immersive, tiny scenes that take place whenever you tell your little person to just do something, which is just fun and interesting. It has a lot more depth than I would have given it credit for at first glance. But other than that, it's what you'd expect pretty much. Survive, research new stuff, use the new stuff that you researched to try and build up a nice big city on the water while trying to keep you and your people happy, healthy, and, you know, like a normal city builder kind of game. Oh, I did forget one more positive, the game's stability. For me at least, the game never crashed, bugged out, glitched, froze, or anything, so it's pretty darn stable. Also, check out all these option menus. I mean, look at all this stuff. You can look at and fiddle around with all this stuff like it's crazy intense, right? Look at this. Alright, now on to the negatives. But before we get into that, did you know about this crazy paradox with YouTube? I know, I just heard about it recently myself. It's pretty crazy. The only way to get views is to get views. Like, what? In other words, no one will see my videos unless a lot of people are already seeing my videos. It's kind of BS, to be honest. So if you all out there would just share my video, comment and like it, maybe view it multiple times, then that would help me that would help me out a lot in getting my channel more noticed, which would just overall help my channel grow. Also, same day reviews. Make a request on a video and I will put it out on that same day or the following day if I already put out a video that day. I mean, hell, this video in particular is a same day review. I am a man true to my word. Alright, enough of that. Now on to the negatives. So the first negative is the gameplay. Yep, it's in the good and the bad today. The gameplay is intuitive, and it's different from a lot that you normally see. But the problem is that it's kind of boring. Now, I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I wasn't in the mood for this kind of game or what. But as I was running around collecting resources and going from point to point, moving and adjusting resources and refining them and yada yada, I realized that I was just gathering masses of resources, but I didn't really have a reason to do so. So I decided to just sit still and do nothing for 15 minutes. And you know what happened? Nothing! Nothing at all happened in 15 minutes. I doubt I'm just that good at managing my shit, so why did nothing happen for 15 minutes straight? Is everything just moving too slowly? Was all my colonists just handling everything for me without me knowing about it? I just don't understand. Another thing about the game is some things just don't make a lot of sense. I mean, you give me a storage box to hold resources, but I can only put in 4 types of resources per box in these giant boxes? I mean, I'm going to run out of space. Is there an inventory limit? I don't know. The game never said anything about it. And even then, for those boxes, it's just that my colonists are supposed to put stuff in there. But, it's only 4, so I guess prioritize? But maybe to make things a little bit simpler, you put this box over by the kiln and the farm so that they can grab the trees and then put the trees in the kiln to make charcoal, and then they can put the charcoal in the box so that they can then take it out of the box and then put it into the cooking table so that they can cook food, so that they can take that cooking food and put it in a box, and my brain hurts. My brain hurts. It's too much, and that's just for like one of the things that you have to deal with. You see where I'm getting confused? And I suppose that my main worry is that if I'm already kind of slowing down and not really worried about anything happening or doing anything, and 15 minutes pass with no problems, I mean, what's it going to be like when I actually get seriously going here, Once I've been more than a couple hours in. I don't know. Once I've got everything automated with my colonists and my workbenches and stuff, I will probably literally just be sitting there doing nothing. There's really just not a lot to do after a while just because your people are handling it all, your colonists. So I guess this is just so you can focus on expanding and providing for them and let them do the work, but I mean, I couldn't really expand a whole lot more. I mean, there was some more I could expand to. There's a chicken coop over there. There's a penguin that gives you big penguin poop over there. So I could do that, but I got that done pretty quick, and then it just seemed to end like I couldn't expand that way anymore, and I don't really know like what more I should be doing. Am I supposed to, I don't know. I guess that's the main negative here, is there's no real plot or progress for you to work for, I mean, sure, gather colonists and bring them all together and make sure they're healthy and happy. I get that. That's in every colony sim game ever. But I guess I'm just a little, maybe I'm missing the point of why. You know what I mean? But back to that whole making my colonists do everything for me thing. And I gotta say, that's gotta be like the thing here, because the game, it was pretty funny. I got a whip that I could use to whip my colonists and make them do their work faster, which I kind of thought was hilarious, because then my guy gets a little devil sticky thing over his head, like that was a devil emoji over his head, like that was pretty funny. So I guess that is what you're supposed to do. But I think that's it. I mean, the game is kind of slow, the gameplay is kind of too easy, and it doesn't really have much purpose. But that's pretty much it. Plus, nothing really happens, just keep your guys fed and happy and healthy, which isn't hard. I don't know if there are any disasters or events or anything. I didn't see any in my gameplay or even a hint of any, so no conflict. But I don't really know because I didn't see anything. But that just only adds to the boringness, the overall boring of the game. And that's pretty much all I can really say about the good and the bad. My overall thoughts, honestly, though, is I think this game is cute, it's quirky, and yeah, it has some boring parts, and it's not perfect, but I gotta say, the creative aspect of building your colony, bringing in more people, the mechanics of the resources, and managing them and refining them, and all of it being just done like this, in this cohesive, mechanical kind of way, the expanding and the customization options here, I mean, it's a fun, weird, cute little game. And if you're into colony simulators or survival games, then this game is right up your alley, and I would recommend giving it a shot. The devs just released a big update, so clearly they're active and adding things. The game is interesting, it does have a lot of fun aspects, it's adorable, and just overall, it's just a fun experience. It's still in early access, so it's still going to be an investment. It's still missing things like a purpose and maybe a little bit speedier gameplay. But as an investment, it seems pretty darn interesting so far, and hell, I'm interested to see what becomes of this game later on. I gotta say, I was actually losing myself in this game at first, until that 15-minute break where nothing happened, and then it pulled me out of it, and I was just like, whoa, what am I looking at? So, I mean, yeah, overall, it's not a bad little game. It's not perfect, it has its downsides, but it's not bad, and I didn't even know about it until now, and I'm probably going to come back to this a little bit later and check and see if more has been added. So, yeah, that's it. I guess I do recommend it. So, give it a shot, especially if you like these kinds of games. So that's all I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.